Who'd you call?
Billy Duke. Your Honor, Mr. Duke is before you in case 230803. We're here today for a motion to reduce bond.
All right, you may
for short
proceed.
release. We would call Mr. Duke.
All right, Mr. Duke, if you'll raise your right hand.
Promise for the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
If you would, for the record, state your full name.
Billy Wayne Duke.
All right. And how long have you been living in Bay County?
Since 1983.
And what type of work did you do for the government for a while?
I was a military services contractor as a barber. I barbered at Tyndall 5 years and 3 years on the Navy-based Department of Defense, Navy Supply Corps Command. I was off base in 1992, and I've been doing electrician work since then.
And were you working for a specific group of people on the date of your arrest?
Yes.
And had you been working with them at different types of companies for a while?
Oh, yes. I've always employed. I'm
And
always working.
were you oftentimes the foreman of the jobs?
Yes, I was a foreman for Beach Mosquito with Bay County Beach Mosquito. I was placed in as foreman by some my coworkers that knew I was competent and responsible.
Okay. Now, the place where you reside, do you own that property and home?
Yes, sir, I do.
And how long have you owned that?
I've been owned it since '85. I've resided in that residence since 1997 at that location. It's mobile.
And what family members do you have that live in Bay County?
I have two sons, two adult sons, Corey James Duke and Patrick Jackson Duke.
And does Corey actually live with you?
Yes.
And if you were released, would you be able to have somebody bring you back and forth to court if there is an administrative suspension on your driver's license?
Oh, yes, I have ways and means. I can also use the bus and trains. As cities get larger, people use buses and trains. I can use the bus.
Okay. Now, you have a bit of a prior record.
I do. I had some incidents. I've had, I was a barber in 4 different states, never had a problem, but I got to Florida and she wanted a DIVORCE and I began to have problems. I lost my contract on the Navy base and yeah, I had problems then. That's when I had a felony problem for stalking my wife and children.
When was the last time that you were on felony probation or did time for a felony?
2014, another state.
Okay. And the $55,000 bond set on these two counts, is that beyond your present ability to make?
It's a poverty any way we go about it. I don't have the money. I can be here. I can show responsibility as I always have to the court.
And have you ever failed to appear?
No.
And would you abide by whatever conditions, including random breath tests or urinalysis, if the judge released you on pretrial release?
Oh, yeah, that's when I have a good laugh. A drug test, well, alcohol test. Well, sure. I'm accused of something that's sold in every other street corner, and I can't drive.
Would you refrain from alcohol if the judge released you?
Yes, sir.
I don't have any other questions.
Mr. James, any questions?
No, sir.
Any other witnesses?
No, sir.
Any witnesses, Mr. James?
No, sir.
I'll allow the state to make the argument. Mr. Meredith, I'll allow you to respond.
Your Honor, I would not object to lowering the bond. It's victimless crime. I would ask that he not be released on pretrial release. He's got 3 prior felonies. His lowest permissible sentence as charged is 33 months. So, you know, he's got experience with the system. And so I would ask that a monetary bond remain in place.
Mr. Meredith?
Your Honor, $50,000 for a third-degree felony is I'd be stuck. My wife would not post that for me even if she had the ability. So, Mr. Duke has ties to the community. He's lived here for 40 years. He has a consistent history of employment. The allegations in this case, he may have been behind the wheel, but he was in a drive-through. So we would ask for pretrial release with random testing.
I'm going to grant the motion. I'm going to set a $2,500 bond on count 1, lower it from the $50,000. $500 bond on the count 2 for a total of $3,000. He's not to possess or consume any alcoholic beverages while he's on release. He'll be subject to random UAs as directed by the court. He's not to operate a motor vehicle until further order of court. We need another court date for Mr. Duke, and we'll set it for June 29th at 9 o'clock. If he makes bond, if you'll just contact Mr. Meredith, that date will change, okay?
Thank you, Tom.
All right.